Hello, welcome to the Comic Book Club. I am your host, Jamil Payne, and with me, as always, is our very own quarantine dancing queen, Amanda Comey. Amanda, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I mean, adjusted for current circumstances, okay?
So, Amanda, since the last time we talked to you, what have you been doing in quarantine?
Uh, I so you know that I'm the dancing queen. Um, I am gonna run a class tomorrow, on Instagram Live, and because I am not lazy and I feel weird just asking people for money, I'm making sure that I have a video of the stuff that I'm going to teach available for people to buy if they want.
Okay, cool.
A lot of the classes, people will just, these are like professional dancers. They'll just like throw on Instagram Live in their like kitchen and they'll dance for an hour and like run a class. And then they'll say, oh, hey, like we're not getting paid right now. We accept donations. And that's it. And I feel a little bit weird just like not offering anything in return.
Gotcha.
So yes. So I'm putting together the videos so that when I get to the end of my class and I say, hey, if you want to donate money, I say, hey, you can donate money, and then I'll give you the video from the class to keep if you want.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, you know
It's
what?
awesome but tedious.
I'm sure it is. You know what? I might donate just to get one of your videos.
Well, if you want, I'll make sure the cats in a lot of them too. I feel like I should mention that.
The what?
The cats.
Uh-huh.
So it's not just me; it's also the cats.
Oh well, I definitely have to donate money then, because cats make everything better, as we know.
Yep.
My cat is mooning me right now. In fact, looking out the window. Hey, Pumpkin. so, I guess I should have talked about this a couple of weeks ago. But what have I been doing in quarantine? I've been buying a lot of clothes. I'm gonna jumpstart this damn economy all by my damn self. Apparently. That's what's going to happen. So that, let's see, I watched Tiger King, but like, I feel like Tiger King was so 3 weeks ago at this point.
Time is really strange right now.
Yeah, like Tiger King's like it was fucking years ago. Like it wasn't even a month ago, and like I got like a good 2 weeks of jokes out of it, but now I feel like it's running its course, and I feel like no one's talking about it, even though that's all anybody could talk about for like 2 or 3 weeks. Did you watch
Yeah.
Did you watch Tiger King, Amanda?
I didn't.
Oh,
Uh,
lucky you. But no, you see, so my problem is, and like, okay, this is gonna sound terrible. I watched the whole thing. It's super interesting, but I think I enjoy the jokes more than I did the actual documentary, because I actually don't find hillbilly and redneck culture that interesting.
Very generous of you to call it culture.
No. Look. It's a culture. It's a cult, right?
It is.
So, like, it's like one of those shows. Like everybody just looks so disgusting that I can't eat. That I can't eat during. And like, not necessarily showing anything nasty. It's just like these people are so grotesque, and it's just like the dude, one of the dudes in there is one of Joe Exotic's husbands, and he got 3 teeth in his mouth, and I'm like, ew, I don't want to fucking just keep looking at that, but you do because it's so interesting. But at the same time, I don't know. It's just this thing, like I don't know. I just don't find as interesting as it is, and as much as I kind of liked it. I don't know. I would necessarily recommend it to everybody, but maybe it's just me. Like I said, I just don't have a strong. Put it this way, it's a testament to the documentary that I can get over that hump.
I believe that. And I mean, people love drama. People love stories. Like I don't think it's like it's just like a different. It sounds like it's just like a different skin, a different aesthetic on top of like a Real Housewives show or something.
No.
No, it's more than that.
there's like murder and suicide. Look, man, there's a lot going on. Like illegal selling of tigers. There's a lot. There's a lot. There's when you think the shit can't get no crazy, it get crazy. But again, I'm pretty sure who's ever listened to us have already seen it, and like I don't have to recap it. But man, it takes some interesting turns. Besides that, I don't know. I guess that's it. I mean, like I said, I've been buying clothes. I haven't really bought any toys lately, and that kind of hurts my soul, but you know, whatever. I've been playing a lot of video games, way more video games than I normally play. Right, like I said, me and my wife are fighting over Animal Crossing. I'm about halfway through Final Fantasy VII Remake. I bought the Ghostbusters video game remastered edition that came out like 10 years ago.
My husband and all of his coworkers started playing Skyrim again. So
Really?
they could feel like they went out. They said it feels like going outside.
Oh, okay. So, like, and again, you know, I guess I'm an essential worker, so I get to go outside every day. So being outside ain't really the problem. The problem is that when you're not doing anything, when you're at home, you can't do anything, right? You're just in the house. So if I'm not working, I'm just stuck in this house by force.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, it gets rough. Even though in my city, the governor's opening stuff back up for inexplicable reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay, you know what? I think that has nothing to do with entertainment. That has nothing to do with comic books. Let's get to what we're talking about today. Today we are talking Harley Quinn, written by Jimmy Palmiotti and his wife Amanda Conner, and drawn by not by Amanda Conner, who you think it would be drawn by, but Chad Hardin, with coloring by Alice Sinclair. See, I remembered.
Amanda did a lot of the covers, though, right? I think she did some of the art.
Yeah, she did a lot of the covers. I think she might did a couple like interior pages, but mostly from when I was reading it, all these 8 issues is mostly Chad. Mostly.
It kind of reminds me of when we did Prophet, the '90s stuff, and we were like, oh, this is clearly like surely Rob Liefeld did the art, and it was like, no, Rob Liefeld just picked out a guy who could like kind of do his art style.
Yes, Chad is very similar to Amanda art.
So you know, maybe she threw together some of the layouts for pages where she had a strong opinion in the story. But we'll get into that.
This trade that was actually part of the New 52 relaunch. It came, you know, so this was released in October 20th of 2014. These 8 issues. So I think I'm gonna ask your opinion in a second, but I want to say this. People have been saying I'm crazy for like the last few years. My theory has always been that New 52 was made specifically so Warner Brothers can have an IP factory. And like almost every like DC movie, more or less, has been based after this New 52 version. Not even like its classical version. Like almost every like one has been. And like after watching Birds of Prey and looking at this, I think that still holds true. That I just felt the New 52 was specifically made to tell like stories that they could like turn into movies.
I agree with that observation. I think that one of the criticisms of the New 52 when it came out was a lot of long-term fans were like, oh, but like, I don't really know how much of the old canon fits in, and it seems like some of it does and some of it doesn't. And I think a really great way to describe it is if you had, through basic osmosis, understood where these characters came from, but needed like a quick re-intro and story for a movie, like that's what this is. That's what almost all of those books felt like.
Yeah. Like, you know, we read Aquaman and seen the movie, and we liked both. But, like, even we said it then, I was like, man, the Aquaman comic written by Jeff Johns reads like a movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't. I mean, it reads like a comic book, but it reads like a damn movie. And I was just like, huh. Like, what? I guess what I should say about that. What I mean is, all these stories, especially early on, are not heavy on canon. They're very the basics of the characters, right? Like you said, right? And like the stories they are telling are really self-contained. You know, like super self-contained.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of like I really like again the new 52 and Man of Steel came out a year apart from each other or like the same year. And I was just like, oh, this is clearly them trying to. This was them clearly trying to ramp up. I really believe they looked at all the stories they had, right? And you know,
Hmm.
DC has always been a little more out there than Marvel, so it's easier to maybe translate a Marvel story into a movie, as is over the years, just because of how Marvel is, right? DC is a little more out there. It's a little more far fetched. It's a little more canon heavy, which is weird because they always reset it, right? But like you know, so it's probably harder to like adapt those older stories unless it's Batman. So like screw it. Let's just start over and we just make stories we can adapt. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
So Amanda, what did you think of Harley Quinn? Oh, hold on. I also say we also reviewing the Birds of Prey movie this episode too. But sorry, Amanda. Amanda, what do you think of Harley Quinn?
Um, I'm gonna say that think is not a relevant word.
Okay.
Um, I had feelings of entertainment and amusement.
Right, right.
I had the sentiment of appreciation for fun artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking didn't happen. um, I I found this very much in like, and I mean, I guess maybe the order here of attribution is wrong, but I found this to be very much like Deadpool.
You know what? I was gonna bring that up. You beat me to it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. We're gonna talk about that in a sec. But go ahead.
Okay, it feels very much like Deadpool, but somehow the tone felt a little bit off.
Mm.
And I mean, maybe, and I was thinking that it may have been with regards to the violence. Um, but also like Marvel gets comedians to help write Deadpool. And I think that it helps.
Oh wow.
Um, so I found this like I said, entertaining, but I was frustrated with uh I want to say like the pace and how much it jumped around and how I feel like I want to say I feel like the action wasn't given like enough space in the comic.
Right.
So like whereas in a Deadpool book frequently there's like physical comedy involved in like the fight sequence, or
Mm-hmm.
at least like when he kills a henchman, the henchman is given the dignity of like a one-liner. I felt like I was missing like the fun action part of this comic.
Okay.
Um, but it's difficult for me to really put my finger on what wasn't quite working.
So
What did you think?
I
Did you think?
I liked it a lot. In fact, I like this better than I like any Deadpool story I ever read.
Okay.
And like again, I don't.
I will say I like Harley as a character way better than I like Deadpool. I just think that the Deadpool teams maybe put together something I can read a little bit better.
Why? It,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's crazy because Connor and Palmiotti have been on this book for years now. I think they just left like not
Hmm.
too long ago, but like they're and like I don't rule out the fact that I might like this better than Deadpool because it stars a hot chick. Like I don't rule that out. Like I'm not.
Oh, it's definitely an improvement.
Yeah, like I don't like me. I don't pretend to. I don't pretend to be like evolved at all.
Look, for both of us, just the fact that she's allowed to change her clothes makes her a better character.
Yeah, like we fucking love that. Like, and I love the idea of like same theme but different outfits. Like I'm really into that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
okay, it follows the half and half theme of her, but it's like, oh, it's a leotard. Oh, it's kind of like a business suit. Oh, it's it's,
Yeah.
it's a bikini. Like, oh, it's awesome. Like when she told the one dude to polish her toes, black, red, black, red. I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, I get that. I get that. So. I, I I would be the first person if I ain't read this right. I would be the first person to tell you I don't like what they've done to Harley Quinn over the last 6 or 7 years. I understand it,
Hmm.
but I never liked it. To me, Harley Quinn should always be with the Joker. She should never grow beyond that. She should not be a feminist icon. She should always be kind of a piece of shit. I know that's a harsh and a terrible thing to say, but that's how I've always kind of seen the character. As in, yes, the Joker is very mean to her, but she brought this shit on herself. This is what she wanted. This is what she gets. You know what I'm saying? And like, her origins is steeps in like, her throwing her whole career away for this man. So, and I truly feel characters like that maybe shouldn't be celebrated or be considered feminist icons.
Would you
Ho-
have?
Go
Oh,
ahead. No, go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
I was gonna say, would you have liked this? Because I somewhat agree with you. Like, I think the original version of Harley Quinn was a really great character to have, but like having a sort of like crazy, strong female protagonist or whatever is also a good thing to have. Like, what if this had been like a Batgirl book? Would that have been more or less palatable
What
if
that?
they had repurposed like a different female character
What?
to?
Well, like that's the thing. Like I do find it palatable, but I had to read it. You know what I'm saying? But just from like, look, I don't even like her being bisexual with Poison Ivy. Like I've never liked that. Not because I'm against hot bisexual chicks. Trust me, that's not it. But like I've always had a problem. And
Mm,
this getting into me, right? Well, like, whether it be male or female, where they just can't be friends without it being some type of gay subtext. Like that's just me. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't cause I have a best friend, right? And he's my best friend in the whole wide world. We've been called gay our whole life. We're married with wife and kids, both of us, right?
yeah,
But God forbid two dudes are like friends. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with women. And I feel like it's just a common trope with women fiction. You know what I'm saying? That like they have to be like into each other. So
right.
I don't even necessarily like that. Even though I think this book does it pretty well. And again, it is two hot chicks, so like that helps. But like yeah, I like the original version of Harley. I like her with the Joker and like, but I understand why they did it. She outgrown that role, right? She just
Yeah.
if we're being honest, she outgrew that role, and she is very popular. She might be popular because she is in an abusive relationship, but I'm not gonna get into that because like even when I was like younger, girls loved Harley Quinn. I'm like you do realize she gets beat up every episode she in by the man she's supposed to love, but okay. So like there's always been like this weird relationship with female empowerment and Harley Quinn already.
Um, I was gonna. I wanted to go back for a second to your point about stories being unwilling to show same-sex friendships. I was gonna say that I know that one factor that plays like, because like yeah, like I actually agree. I feel like a lot of stories could benefit from showing close same-sex relationships that aren't romantic. But I also know that a lot of gay, queer, bisexual, whatever, um, look for examples they can identify with in
True,
popular culture.
true,
And when
true.
they keep seeing, like, it's like gay baiting, like when they keep seeing same-sex friends and people insist like, oh no, they're only friends, it like delegitimizes same-sex romantic relationships. So it's like a weird tension. It's like, yeah, on the one hand, it would be really awesome to just see them be like really badass, like platonic friends.
Like how they were, like how they were intended to in the first place.
Right. But then when you get fans who are saying like, oh, like if you won't make them a couple, that makes it sound like you're afraid of them being gay.
It,
I can see them, I can see there being a tension there, and I can see there being like no real right. Well, no, there is a right answer. The right answer is to have her be friends with Poison Ivy and also have a girlfriend.
right. You know what I'm saying?
Like, why not just have another female character in the book? Heaven forbid.
And like again, my relationship with like with Harley and Ivy is weird because people want Poison Ivy to be a good guy, and and the only reason they want her to be a good guy is because Harley is now kind of a good guy, so they want so therefore they want Poison Ivy to be a good guy too, and I'm just like, y'all, like Poison Ivy is a classic Batman villain, always have been. I mean, characters can change and grow, you know what I'm saying? But, like, at what point do you stop listening to the fans and be like, nah, we can't make her, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know. Am I sound too much like a nerd saying this is not canon, yada, I'm afraid to change? If it is, I'm sorry. That's not what I'm saying.
no, it's just, it's like a really, I mean, when people talk about like, oh, like if you could write any comic book character, which one would you want to write? And I'm like, oh, hell no. Have you ever been on Twitter? Like, you need to balance, like, preserving this character that exists, like, independent of you against, like, the desires and wishes of, like, all of the fans. Because at some level, these characters belong to everybody.
Right.
And knowing which direction to take them in is really hard.
Like, and like, I think it's also scary to listen to the fans too much, which is a weird thing because we're fans, and we have our own opinions on how things should go with our certain properties, So like, I get it, but I think there's a danger in that. Like, I forgot who's writing the Venom book right now, but he gets a lot of hate because he won't make Eddie Brock and Venom have a relationship.
What?
Yo, no, this is a real thing. I am not playing. He comment. I forgot who it is, but like he comments on this all the time. Like, look, I'm not making them have sex, or I'm not making.
Wow.
Them, yeah, but again, forgive me. I feel like they're the same people that kind of want that want a Harley. Look, I think it's the same people that want like Harley Quinn and like it's the Tumblr people, right? It's the fucking Tumblr people. It's the weird ass Tumblr people and they weird ass art. And everything is gay and everything is furry. Everything is gay and furry on Tumblr. That's not true. I'm kidding. But it's the same type of people, right? It's just like you get these weird people and it's hard to know who to listen to. But like you said, so I don't know. It's a balance. No, we don't got all off the book. Look, I like the book. I enjoyed it. I think this is going to be like my guilty pleasure book.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I really do like the art is really good. Like I think all this new 52 art is really good. Like you could tell DC, like if some of the writing and creative decisions in the new 52 are like bad. The one thing they did like absolutely have a standard on, like all the art must be good.
Can we talk about the issue 0 for a second?
Yes, the best issue.
Because this was not only is it really great art where every page is a different artist, but this is fourth wall breaking in a way that's like way better than the shit Deadpool does.
Yes, it is. And I was like, oh, they just made her into Deadpool. And like, just before we get to that, I just want to say, you said Deadpool. I was looking through everything they've had of Harley since the new 52 up until now. Mm-hmm. And it's just like Deadpool. It's like a regular book then like another then like 20, 30 different miniseries, all within the last like 7 years. So you know how there's just this glut of Deadpool shit everywhere. Like, you know, he has like 8 books going at once.
Yeah.
They do the same thing with Harley now. Like, she is their Deadpool. Go ahead though. Yes.
Oh
Yes.
no, I just thought it was really fun because it was you know, Harley talking to the creators while they're trying to pick out an artist for her. And first of all, one of the great things about Harley is that she is a character that people love to draw.
Yes. Yes, she
So
is.
I'm sure if you just put out the call, you get people throwing variant covers at you for free, probably.
Amanda, they got Walt Simonson.
Yes, they did. They got Walt Simonson. Um, but not only do they, oh, and they also had Becky
Clooney,
Cloonan.
yeah, they mention her like on the second page.
Yeah. Um, so they have all of these different art styles, which is so much fun. But Harley is also making industry jokes.
Yes, she is.
I think my favorite one is it, where is it? Where is it? Oh, it's the Adam Hughes one,
Yes.
where it's half blue pencil. And she's like, oh my gosh, I love this. I've never looked so beautiful. But how about somebody who can finish a book on time?
Well, yes, that's and God bless Adam Hughes for letting that joke fly, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Did they do a Frank show? I can't remember. Did they do Frank show?
they didn't, and they should have.
Oh. I guess they was like, it'd just be redundant to have Frank Cho if you got Adam Hughes.
Maybe. I mean, also they just ran out of pages, or maybe they were just looking for, because I mean, one of the things here is like each page is a completely different style.
Yes, the Becky Clooney one, I would like to see a miniseries with Becky Clooney drawing Harley Quinn. I actually liked her version of Harley a little bit.
Yeah, she brought in just like a tiny bit of that like indie comic aesthetic.
Yes, just a
Like
bit.
it's just a tiny bit. Like it's just a little cartoony, just a little like I don't know. And I loved the color on that page too.
Oh God, yes, it was. You know what, guys? We just gonna spend this whole episode talking about this one issue. Screw the rest of the book. No, I kid. But yeah, that right there. There's also a great industry joke later in the book when they flinging trash off the top of the building,
Hmm.
and it's Dan Didio talking about his new thing, and like just trash hits the window. I was just like, you know what? Good job, good job, good job. So Amanda, let's go through this. We ain't gotta go issue by issue, but what do you think of her like little cast of characters that she have?
Um, you know, I thought they were fine. She's got, I mean, so the premise is she's inherited a building,
Yeah.
and it's down in Coney Island, so it's like there's like a I don't know, like a burlesque theater on the ground floor, and then like
A wax
everybody
museum.
lives a wax museum, and like then everybody like lives upstairs, so it's like a bunch of carnies live in the building, and then she gets like the top 2 floors is her own penthouse, and Poison Ivy comes and builds a park on one of the floors so that Harley can adopt all of the dogs from the shelter and they can live in her apartment building. I mean, it's like very
They give her a whole universe
yeah,
within 2 issues. They give her a whole universe onto her own.
yeah. But let's see. So there's the short guy who lives downstairs.
By the way, maybe this is gonna sound. I kind of ship him and Harley. I know that's not gonna happen, but like I think it'll just be hilarious. Maybe because I'm only
what
five.
what he did was make me consider the possibility of a Wolverine Harley crossover.
Wow, that would be good. I think Wolverine would kill himself because if he had to deal with somebody else that's just like Deadpool but a woman, I think Wolverine would jump out of a building. But yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't deal with it, but I'm gone. Go ahead. Yeah. So
Um,
it's his gypsy girlfriend. Is she a gypsy
yeah.
Fortune teller girlfriend?
Yeah.
I don't think gypsy is appropriate to say anymore. Fortune teller girlfriend. Yeah. There's a two-headed dude. It makes sense, right? It makes sense that like she would have a bunch of corny, since she's a clown, they have a bunch of corny people as her like tenants.
Yeah, no, it fits in. It fits in absolutely perfectly. Let's see. She also now does roller derby,
Yes.
which, I mean, it like fits her character, but it also like fits it too well.
Well, look, this is my problem. I looked at the age of Connor and Palmiotti. They're older,
Mm-hmm.
and like roller derby seemed like such an old person thing.
Really?
Like I don't know nobody who
It's like really popular in Baltimore.
Skating in general seems like an old people thing. I know it's not, but like I don't like.
I think it's kind of like I don't think we really have like hipsters anymore, but I think it's kind of like instead of joining a coven, I think women do roller derby now.
Okay.
No, I just know like a lot of like approximately 30-year-old women who like put on short shorts and go like roller skating.
And beat each other up.
I guess sometimes, I don't know, but I mean it's like
Amanda, would you do roller derby?
No. I'm not that good at roller skating and I'm afraid of hurting myself now. I will say when my friends and I were in junior high, we would play a skiing version of roller derby because our ski club would go down to a mountain that was closer to New York City.
Right.
And so all of these casual, bad first-time skiers or whatever would be like all over the mountain in like their expensive fancy gear because they have money being from New York City. And we were just like upstate kids who skied all the time. And so we would play like you would get off the chairlift and you would pass as many people as you could. And if you cut somebody off and they fell over, you got like more points. And we would try to we would go around and we would try to like lap the other people from our group.
Right.
Just up and down the same chairlift on the beginner slope over and over. So I think I have it in me to be mean and like cut people off and like push them over and stuff. But like snow is a little bit easier to land on than like a roller skating rink.
Plus, don't hit me in my face. Just not in my face. That's the money.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe if there was like a water slide version.
Right. So
a lazy, I would do roller derby in a lazy river. We get the inner tubes, you get little flipper paddles, and you have to like lap people in a pool.
So Amanda, okay, so this book is written half of this book is written by a woman, right? Well, not half of the book, but it's written with a woman, right? So as a fairly young woman yourself, as I'm assuming pretty liberal woman, do you think this book is sexist at all? Or is it does it like pass the sniff test of like strong female character?
It feels normal.
Okay.
I guess there's nothing I read that bothered me. That I also wasn't particularly like Harley isn't dismantling the system or anything. She's like operating within the status quo, but like I didn't notice.
Let
me put it this way. Harley is a very empowered, independent female character.
Right.
But the book doesn't feel like it's about her being a woman.
Right.
which is a good balance.
Which is a good balance. So, okay. With all that being said, what do you think of Harley's Dirty Beaver?
I was
aghast.
I mean,
I seen your tweets, Amanda.
I don't know. I mean, like, on the one hand, I was like, what is this? And on the other hand, I was like, no, please don't explain it. Yeah, it's a thing. It's fine.
Like, it's literally there just to make, like, vagina jokes, right? Like, it's mainly
Uh-huh.
there for that, right?
Yeah.
My favorite one was how excited, like, Ivy was to see her beaver, and she's like, oh, you're talking about a real beaver. And I was just
Yeah.
like, I laughed at that. I really, because that was almost, like, that was almost too explicit.
Hmm.
That was almost like, whoa. But yeah, let me see, what else? What else can we talk about in this? We said,
Um,
go ahead.
how did you feel about the whole storyline? Okay, so one of the things that disappointed me a little bit was that in this story, in order to afford managing this whole building, Harley had to go back to work as a psychiatrist again.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that bothered me a little bit was that it didn't really seem like she was that good at her job.
No.
And I always had the impression, and maybe this is wrong, that Harley being the crazy clown version was a choice at some level,
Right.
and that she could absolutely go back to being normal if she wanted to.
Right.
And that she could turn it off and go back to being like really professional and good at her job and like quote normal.
Harley,
And it bothered me a little bit that like she was bad at her job.
and like, it's weird too, because like, she's good at her job, but when she's not at the actual place, like,
Yeah.
like she'll spell out psychiatry stuff, or like her knowledge of like things, but it's like usually doing the mayhem, it's never doing her actual job.
Yeah. That was a little frustrating to me because I kind of liked the of it being that she chose this life. And I don't know, maybe as the series continues, maybe they like kind of go into what is going on with her.
Well, I think maybe the origin has changed slightly. Look, I'm gonna tell you something, Amanda. I was convinced like 7 or 8 years ago they was gonna change her origin completely. Like,
Okay.
I was just convinced because how it stands is quote unquote problematic, and not so much that it's problematic. It's so much is like, if this is gonna be like a new hero character, that origin she has is super, like, if she was just a villain, it'll be different. Like, that origin story would fit if she was just a villain or a villain henchman. But if you're gonna put her, you know, outward, you know what I'm saying, face front, out there, so everybody, is she gonna be in little kids toys and little kids cartoons, which she absolutely is, like toddler kids cartoons, like there's a
Yeah.
cartoon where she's in like elementary school or some shit, right? If you're going to do that, all of a sudden that origin story is a little,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, all of a sudden it doesn't quite fit. Because
There's some darkness and some complexity there that like, I mean, like kids are smart and resilient, but like I wouldn't want to be a parent explaining that.
yeah, and it's not even the little kids. It's just period,
Yeah.
just period. You know what I'm saying? It's just not the kids part. It's just all of it, right? It's just like, how do you explain that this woman threw everything away to be like a homicide maniac with this man? Like, that's not empowering at all. But you want her to be an empowering character, so like now you have to reconcile those two.
Yeah.
The two contradictions that you made for yourself. So I was just convinced that they were going to change it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That they was gonna, but they haven't. But what I think they have done a little bit of is make it more of a love story between her and Joker, like kind of like how they did in the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm not cool with that. I don't know. I'm not cool with that because Cause like I do feel at that point you're just giving in to the fangirls and fanboys at that point. If you start making their relationship more loving than it actually was.
Yeah.
And like it takes away that power and the cautionary tale of that story. You know what I'm saying? Which I think is actually a better like, look, don't give all your life away for a man like this dumb broad did. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a very important story for women to learn and
It
men.
is. It is.
And like yeah, and you help breaking free of that is also very like you know what I'm saying is actually like very compelling. But they decided to go in this way that you can't really do that per se.
Yeah.
Make sense? Am I off base here? Like, tell me.
No, I think, yeah, I think I mean, it's kind of like you were saying, changing, like the original version of Harley was a useful character, and changing her into this version is hard.
Yes.
And now you've also lost something from not having that original character available too.
Right. Right. Also, I think the Beaver is there. I think the Beaver there is actually another Deadpool not because Deadpool has a second voice in his head.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like that was like her version of the yellow text box.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So, Amanda, do you have anything else to say about this story, or like? Well, I guess we should talk about like you know, there's hitman after her. Come to find out, she's putting the hit on herself.
Yeah, when she falls asleep, she sleepwalks, I guess, and posts to forums putting bounties on herself. I don't know. That seems really complicated for sleepwalking.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Well, she is crazy, so maybe, you
I
know.
mean, look, crazy can excuse a lot. I don't know if it can excuse that much.
What complex thought and sleepwalking it can excuse that. I feel you. So Amanda, if so, you probably wouldn't keep reading this, huh?
No.
No. Well, I recommend it wholeheartedly. I'm gonna keep reading. In fact, I've downloaded almost everything that's available since this relaunch. So I think this is gonna be my guilty pleasure book going forward. Do you got anything else to say?
No, I am happy to delegate that responsibility to you.
All right. So Amanda, well, get ready to talk some more. So Amanda, I guess we get into our review of excuse me, the Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn. Amanda, what do you think of the Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn? Of one Harley
Uh,
Quinn, excuse me.
I feel very similar to how I felt reading the book. I think it was a pretty good adaptation of the tone and craziness of the Harley Quinn comic.
Right.
But I wasn't super into the comic, so I wasn't super into the movie either.
Again.
Um,
Okay.
I mean, like, I actually had trouble with like the pacing and the editing.
Right.
Like it kept like wandering off and getting distracted.
Right. Okay.
Which is like it is a storytelling technique, like that's valid. It's just I felt like I was watching a kids movie.
With cocaine.
Yes. I felt like I was watching like I specifically the last time I felt this way was when I saw Madagascar 3.
Wow.
I had like no idea what was going on with the plot of that movie. It just like bounced around from like set piece to set piece and somehow actually had like 3 different subplots going on at the same time. And I was just like, I don't even know what's going on. And this is like I am not the target audience of this film editor. Like, just I don't think this way.
Okay, so again, I kind of love the movie, and I
I
think
loved a lot of things about it.
okay, so but it's not the thing that some it's not like a sum of its parts is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think like this is like a movie, like I would put this movie on mute and just like look at it because it looks really cool.
So for me,
Or maybe I would put just like the fight scene with Huntress like on repeat.
mm,
But tell me about the parts. Tell me about what you liked.
well, so there's a lot of things going on here, right? I enjoy the style. It's almost like a music video in a lot of ways, but like since I enjoyed the book, I really enjoy. Like, so here's the thing, right? We talk about how like, while I love comic book movies, I do get sick of comic book movies, especially since they feel kind of samey. So I really
Yes.
appreciate this comic book not feeling samey. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel like a Marvel movie. Thank God. You know what I'm saying? Because I think all Marvel movies, no matter how good they are, feel kind of the same. But it also don't feel like old dark DC. Like
Right.
it has its own thing going, and like I appreciate that this Aquaman and Wonder Woman are all technically in the same universe, but all three have three drastic different tones.
Yeah.
And like I I like the cat. Okay, so the problem with this movie is this movie didn't need the Birds of Prey, and like I feel like that's the one like downside to this movie is like the Birds of Prey feels like side cat. This is a Harley Quinn movie.
Yes.
It should have been a Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. That's what it should have been called. And this is a with like these characters who like have like this rich history and this history as a teen kind of being sidelined and changed around.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm not gonna lie, I like it. Like it's a lot of style over substance, but I think that sometimes is good. Like at least it has a style.
Yeah, I was gonna say it does. It has a style, and they like executed on it fully. They weren't embarrassed about what they were trying to do.
Right.
They weren't embarrassed that it was based on a comic book.
Right.
Uh, and I mean, they also weren't embarrassed that like it featured women. Um, like one of the things I loved was like when they were searching Harley Quinn's pockets, and he pulls a tampon out of one of her pockets, and she's like, "Oh, other pocket." Like I just loved that moment. Like that's a joke for women. And they were like, "Yeah, it's all women in this movie. We're gonna make girl jokes."
Right. So, what I was gonna say. What do you think of the other? I know you like Huntress, but for the life of me, I can't understand why.
It's girl Batman.
It's kind of
And her like over the top vengeance thing, and her like angsty voice even when people challenge her on it. It's just like it's like this is so stupid when it's a girl. Batman doesn't work as a girl, and it's wonderful. It just highlights everything about his character that doesn't make sense.
you watch it. No, you're probably right. No, you.
Like she's a rich girl whose parents were killed, and she's obsessed with it, and runs around not using guns to kill people, and she wears all black, and
I like
why'd
the,
you say that name?
I like that idea of her being socially awkward because an orphan who's trained to kill would be totally socially awkward. Like,
Yes.
but like,
Yes.
but like again, I think it's just the problem with all these characters. They're just kind of nothing characters in a lot of ways. Like they're charming, you know what I'm saying? They are, but like they're all in service of Harley.
Yeah, we didn't get to see enough of them, really.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't like that they made please forgive me. I don't like the fact that they made Cassandra Cain into a chubby Asian girl who steals. Cassandra Cain is a badass character who kicks a lot of ass, and it's just like Why even name her Cassandra Cain? Just name her something else. Like, she doesn't have to be a character from the comic book.
I mean, I think that if you imagine that Cassandra Cain had been a schlubby pickpocket, which does take guts and skill and a little bit of, like, you know, street smarts, and she had lived through this situation, maybe she would grow up to be even, like, more of a badass. Like, maybe this is setting up the origin story for, like, a future badass Asian American Batgirl.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't hurt, but you're right. Like, it could have been her being Cassandra Cain meant absolutely nothing.
Like, Cassandra Cain is probably a better fighter than Batman. Within the fiction of the Batman comic, she's might be the best fighter of the Bat family. And the fact, and it's nothing wrong with the little girl. The little girl is great. I loved her. You know what I'm saying? It just, she didn't have to be Cassandra Cain.
She could have been Barbara Gordon.
Well, you know what? That's another thing too. It's just like, I think I much rather just have like a straight up Birds of Prey movie with a paralyzed Barbara Gordon. I think that would have been a much better movie as far as a Birds of Prey movie. But as a Harley Quinn movie, like, this is good. But again, it's that thing of, well, like I said, it's style over substance. But I did like it a lot. I like the villains. Oh, let me ask you, what do you think of Ewan McGregor? What do you think of old General Kenobi?
In the grand tradition of them, he's just in the tradition of them hiring really, really great actors to play villains, and, like, I mean, like, he went, like, all the way with it, but it was still like it was wasted. Like, it was like Kevin Spacey, you know, as like Lex Luthor. Like, it was like, this would have been great, but like, why didn't they go?
Oh my God! Don't even get me started on that.
It was a waste.
I remember when they kissed Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor, and I was so excited. Like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. He's perfect.
Yeah. And
he just plays like the Gene Hackman version because that's what Bryan Singer liked. And it's just like, I
mean, again, I think what I loved about this movie was that no one was embarrassed. Like, Ewan McGregor went in there and he was like, yeah, I'm going to, like, completely do it. And I'm going to be, like, flamboyant and weird, and, like, I'm going to go all the way.
He's definitely gay, right? Him and Jazz was definitely in, like, some type of relationship. That's how I read it. That's how
he just struck me as some, yes.
Yeah, like, and then, like, it's funny. I say that because I read an article. Oh, it's like an interview where they basically like, yeah, we played it as gay as we could and get away with it without saying gay.
Yes.
And I remember watching the movie, and again, I just complained with, like, I don't like when they have, like, straight, like, I don't like, but I like, no, they're definitely playing this as, like, gay. And I thought I was tripping. I thought, like, oh, it's just all in my mind. I'm just being a hypocrite. But no, they really did play it as gay. And I was like, oh, okay. That makes sense. Because he seems to have no interest in women besides dominating them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I do think that one scene gets really uncomfortable. Where he makes the girl dance on the table.
Yeah.
And I think this movie needed that scene because I think the movie was in danger of him showing up everybody and being more likable than anybody else in the movie. So, like I feel like you needed that scene. You know what I'm saying? To, like, show how terrible he is.
Yes. And this is an example of it could have felt like fridging.
Right.
Like having an early scene in a movie where the villain just does something mean to a woman to, like, drive action forward.
Yeah.
But because there are other women in the movie.
So many women. A lot of boobs in this movie.
Yeah. Like if that woman in the club that he antagonized had been the only female character in the entire movie, it would have been a really shitty movie.
Right.
And that would have also been, like, horrible. There is something else I wanted to bring up. Oh, okay, so what about Black Canary?
What about her?
Okay, I was a little bit frustrated that like the reveal of her superpower was like the climax of the movie somehow.
I was frustrated by her character in general because Black Canary is an awesome character on her own. And I don't understand why they did this to her. But go ahead, yeah.
Well, no, I mean like that's the point is I was like it was like supposed to be some sort of like were we supposed to feel something when we finally found out that she had this superpower? Like I was like what I'm like yes, clearly like who doesn't know this coming into the movie? It was a little bit like the complaint with the Captain Marvel movie, where it was like, why she's nerfed half the movie? Like, why? Like, no, I want her to rainbow sparkle and punch things. I want Black Canary to be badass. I don't want to watch her like discover her inner badass while Harley Quinn has an adventure.
Right.
Like, if we're not gonna get a well-developed arc, just show me the character at their coolest the whole time.
And like I have no problem with her like being black. You know what I'm saying? Number one reason being is Joreen Smollett. I've had a crush on since Full House.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've literally followed that girl, that woman, since she was like 5. Mind you, we're the same age. That sounded way creepier than it meant to.
Yeah.
But like I remember her on Full House being Michelle's best friend. Like that's her. So I'm all for her being Black Canary. I just wish, I don't know. This is gonna sound terrible because it'd be a man's movie. Maybe she would have been better in the Green Arrow movie.
Maybe.
Because then, she would have got like some character development. She would have been like her own autonomous person, even though it's a Green Arrow movie. Because Green Arrow and fucking Black Canary are all about being together. You know what I'm saying? This version of her is like they change a lot about her. I don't know, man. I do have a problem with what they did with Huntress and all of them. The only one I think that comes off pretty decent is Rosie Perez as Renee Montoya.
Yeah, but she also had the most screen time out of the.
She did. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh! Look what happens when you actually let the character be on screen. Heaven forbid.
Right, and it's that thing of like Rosie Perez is such a veteran that I feel like she could just bring life to any role that she's in.
Yeah.
It's really funny to think that that's the same girl that danced to Fight the Power at the beginning of Do the Right Thing in the opening credits. That's that same woman. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, I liked it. I really did like it. I hate that it didn't do as well as maybe I think it should have.
Let me say, I feel like if I had gone out to see this movie with a few friends, I may have enjoyed the experience more.
Oh yeah, drink a little wine before it. You know what I'm saying? Just having a good old time. Yeah. I definitely. Or as Harley Quinn did in the movie, just go on the cocaine filled rampage. So Amanda, would you recommend Harley Quinn? Excuse me. The Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of one Harley Quinn. Would you recommend it?
Not really. I wouldn't. I would say if you really love sort of like the random humor and you really love Harley Quinn, then yeah. I would say maybe if you've got some friends together and like you want to watch it, yeah. I would say like sitting alone in your house while the world is falling apart, maybe not.
Also, I watched like a couple episodes of the Harley Quinn cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more or less just the Amanda Corner and Jimmy Palmiotti comic book. Like not one for one, but the same exact tone.
Okay.
More or less. That same man. So let me ask you a question. Like, did you like the Deadpool movies at all?
So here's the thing. I enjoyed watching the Deadpool movies, but I've had like zero desire to go back and rewatch them.
Right.
And I actually somewhat recommend Deadpool as a starting point for new comic book readers, just because canon is explicitly not important.
Right.
So I say to people like, hey, if you just want to like read like you should just, because reading comic books is a little bit of a skill. And you kind of need to practice figuring out like what order to read the panels in and like how to read the dialogue. I always say, I'm like, just pick up like 5 random issues of Deadpool. And like you can read them and you don't have to worry about continuity. You don't have to worry about canon. You don't have to worry about plot. So yeah, so like I like Deadpool, but I really loved watching the movies in the theater, but like I've forgotten about them and had no desire to go back and rewatch them.
Okay. And like I feel like this, do you think this movie would have been better if it was just about Harley Quinn and not all these other like extraneous characters? If it would just focus on her and her style and her life with what we know, do you think that maybe this could have been better?
Yes, I think that if they had made a more intentional decision to either have it be more fully a Birds of Prey movie with a Harley subplot, or more fully a Harley movie, then yeah, I think it would have been a little bit better.
I think it makes the same mistake as Suicide Squad, is in if you're gonna have Harley Quinn by herself with a group, why aren't they going after the Joker?
Yeah.
Like seriously. So
yeah. Why wasn't he the villain?
See.
Oh.
One more thing. I know I did the wrap up spiel, but one more thing, right? The way this movie is shot. Okay, excuse me. Amanda, what do you think of the outfits in this movie?
They are great.
I think the color blocking and like the cinematography is great in this movie. Like no matter like the script or anything, like I think like just the way her outfits matches the scene, if that make any sense, and just how great they look, how all the outfits look great. I think it's like awesome. I really do. Like especially like that one gold outfit that she had on. I think, and I'm finally glad she got the hyenas.
Yes.
One of them anyway. One hyena. One. But yeah, so yes, the outfits are great. The fashion sense of this movie was like really good. I think the director Kathy Yan, I think she's gonna go places. If she isn't already, she might be a I just feel like she's perfect for action movies, because I think no matter what you think of the plot, I think the action and the cinematography and the blocking of the colors and everything are really damn great in this movie. So I think she might have like a really big future ahead of her.
I agree.
Okay.
I think, and same thing with the comic book. From like a technical point of view, like everybody did their jobs really, really, really well.
Yes.
I was just not quite the target audience.
Which is weird, because just like Ghostbusters 2016, you're supposed to be the target audience for this.
Yes. It's a little bit surprising to me when on paper it seems like it would be a perfect fit for me, and then it's not quite. And maybe it's an uncanny valley thing. Like maybe it's so close to being right for me that I'm more critical than I would be otherwise.
Right. Okay.
I mean, maybe that's the thing, is maybe I'm more generous with my assessment of Deadpool because I don't feel like it was made for me. So I don't take it personally when it's off a little bit.
Okay. I mean, that's the thing.
That's like super insightful. I hadn't thought of that until now.
The comic book club, bringing all your neuroses out. That's what we do. No, so Amanda,
Yeah,
we're wrapping this up.
Yes.
Next episode is our 50th. We made it to the. Who would have thought when I asked you to do this shit damn near 3 years ago that we'll make it this far? Damn near 2 years ago we would make it this far, Amanda.
I mean, I always thought we were going to make it at least 52 episodes. Hey!
Yes. So, Amanda, because of that, we're actually planning something a little, well, not even necessarily special, but I figured for for the 50th episode, it gotta be special. It gotta be big, right? So we're doing the big one. So Amanda, what are we reading and watching next episode?
We are doing Marvel's Civil War.
Yes. Mark Miller written, Steve McNiven drawn, mega crossover blockbuster Civil War is what we'll be reading next week. And we will also, well, not next week, but next episode, we will also be looking at the movie that adapted this story. Very loosely, but the movie nonetheless. So, Amanda, are you excited about this one, or are you dreading this? I'm curious to know your early thoughts, like right now.
I am excited for this one because Civil War is the sort of like iconic comic book event that gets referenced by other things,
right.
But like without the motivation of you, I don't know if I would ever go back and read it. Right. So it's sort of a little bit like comic book homework.
I'm sorry for giving you homework in this epidemic.
I mean, no, things are classics for reasons. And yeah, I mean, like I'm looking forward to finally reading it, even though I expect that like I might not enjoy it too much. Like, it might not be my, I just like it might not be my favorite thing that we've read. I might be complaining about the outfits next week and be like, man, why can't it be more like Harley Quinn?
Just completely flip it on his head. Just
yeah.
Well,
I take it back.
You know, have you seen the Civil War movie before? I'm assuming you have.
Yeah, I have.
Of course you have. Movie made over $1 billion. Everybody's seen that damn movie. But yeah, I think this would be fun. I think, it'll be a fun rewatch. I think this would be a fun conversation. I have thoughts. I've always had thoughts about this comic story that may surprise you. And like, honest, and I'm giving you a preview. I'm not even going to spring this up on you. In the end, whose side would you take? Just marinate on that, audience. Amanda, just marinate. Whose side are you on in this Civil War? With that, we are done with this episode. Thank you for listening. I hope whoever listening in this quarantine, I hope we just bring a little bit of joy, or just have you not think about it for like an hour. Even though we spent like the first 20 minutes talking about it. But I hope this brought you a little bit of relief. Just a little bit. Amanda, you got anything to say?
No.
Okay. Well, anyway, I am Jamil Payne.
I'm Amanda Comey.
And we are out.